November 12th, Mrs. Blaskey was discovered by her adult son, who came home to take her to a doctor's appointment. The house was ransacked with several items of property missing, to include her 2001 Lexus sedan. There was no evidence of forced entry. Investigators and evidence technicians processed the crime scene for more than 24 hours and recovered over 300 items of evidence from the house. An extensive search of the neighborhood and the neighborhood canvas, interviewing people in the neighborhood, took place over the course of about a week. And still at that point, we were unable to provide any, or unable to obtain any useful suspect information. Mrs. Blaskey's abandoned vehicle was recovered in December up by Cal State San Bernardino in the parking lot of an apartment complex. It was recovered abandoned. As the investigation continued, our efforts began to focus more on burglaries and burglary crews operating within the city of San Bernardino. In all three of these cases, the murders occurred, property was taken from the home, and they were residential burglaries. So our focus became looking at burglaries, our burglary crews, and burglars in the city. During this part of the investigation, we were looking for clues in all three of the cases at the same time. Go ahead. Just to give you an idea of the enormity and complexity of the investigation, our investigators arrested over 70 individuals as a result of this investigation for unrelated crimes, such as burglary, identity theft, and multiple other things, drug possession, probation violation, parole violation, that type of thing. We identified over 30 potential suspects in the Blaskey case alone. Several hundred people were contacted and interviewed, but again, we were still unable to bring enough together to make a case for prosecution. Last Friday, on April 5th, we received confirmation that DNA was matched from the crime scene that belonged to Jerome Anthony Rogers, a 57-year-old black male who lives in San Bernardino. He frequented the area of the north part of our city, up in the area of all three crimes. Rogers was arrested Friday evening. He denied participating in any of the homicides, denied participating specifically in the Blaskey murder, as he had done in the past. Rogers had been contacted by us multiple times and was one of those 30 people that we had identified as a potential suspect. Several search warrants were performed on Friday after his arrest at locations or residences tied to him, with property being recovered that was taken from the Blaskey home during the homicide. Rogers was, again, one of the 30 suspects contacted during the investigation. During the several interviews, it was determined that he was a registered sex offender, and during the course of our investigation, his registration had expired and he failed to re-register. He was arrested and ultimately placed on probation for that offense late last year. We do believe that there are other suspects or suspect that are still outstanding in this case and the other cases. At this point, we're not able to discuss the connection between the three cases, or a lack of connection. It's still too early, and the investigation is still developing in all the cases. The San Bernardino Police Department has committed a great deal of our scarce resources to this effort. We have spent tens of thousands of staff hours since November, and including over 1,000 hours of overtime, following up the leads in these cases. Our employees are very focused and determined to bring all of the suspects to justice for these murders and all of the murders that occur in San Bernardino.